Hello, it's Jane again, and I just thought I'd show you today the book that we are studying for Lent. It's called God's Creation, Our Concern, and it's written by Jane McLaren, who is part of Bible Journaling UK. So we have 6 studies in here for Lent, and it's a beautifully presented book with lots of gorgeous illustrations in, and as well as all the study material, there's room for you to journal as you go through. So the first page was looking at creation, and I journaled about my favourite parts of creation. So we've got the world in the middle, and then my interpretation of that, the things that I liked in creation. And you can see there the things that I enjoyed. And I put some background in there with a finger dauber and some colours of the earth. Also that week we looked at the things that reveal God's majesty in creation, and you can see the mixed media that I used on this page to make a beautiful picture. I've got poppies because they're one of my favourite things in creation. I've got some 3D flowers that I've put on there, some stickers with plants and trees. I've got some butterflies. I've got a butterfly border along the top of the page made with washi paper, and lots of other things on there. The idea with journaling is that you can use as much media and as many different ones as you want, and you can just see in the background there that I did some paint splattering to put a nice background on the page before it. You can also see, if I move across, the other piece that we studied there was a verse from Job, and this is my not so good drawing, but the verse was talking about who can tilt the water jars of heaven when the parched ground is dry. And that verse really spoke to me about the way that God provides what the earth needs. So my picture there is the water jars watering the parched earth, and I thought of the parched earth particularly being in the desert at that point. So I had some cactus in my sticker supply, so some of those went in there. And looking at that quote at the bottom there, I also felt that was appropriate for what we were looking at that week. And it says, although the world is full of suffering, it is also full of the overcoming of it. If I turn the page, you can see that the next week we went on to talking about the destruction of the earth and the ark. We thought about what things we might save today, and I did my own rainbow around the outside of the page for that week. And then we looked at the promise of the rainbow, so we've got that illustrated on there, and some rainbow washi tape along the edge here. And then we talked about the second coming and what we needed to do to be ready for God to come again. The third week we looked at our responsibility. I put lots of animals and things there that reminded me about our responsibility for looking after the whole of creation. And I also wrote out a song that I really love, that also reminds us that even as small as man is, God looks after us. How small the human race appears. Seeing you in all your majesty, I wonder how it can be that you delight in me. And those words again really spoke to me with that week. Also, with our responsibility, it reminded me that we are here to look after the least, the last, the lost, and the lonely. And that's another thing that I focused on in this side. And then we were asked to think about what we could commit to being concerned about and what we could commit to looking at. And I've tried to commit to being better at recycling because I know I'm not very good at that. So that was my promise for more care about God's creation. And then this last week we looked at warning, and we looked at what's going on more with the earth, and we looked at a video from the environment, the UN environment, about making peace with nature. You can find that on the internet, and it's a really good environmental reminder of what things are going on. So I had 3 images of the earth there, and the earth crying tears for the way that we are hurting it with all the different things that are going on with regard to climate change. Also this week we looked at the desert and the desert places, and we thought about the desert places that we need to pray for. And I used one of my favourite verses from Amos in the middle there to remind me of those words again. Let justice roll on like a river, righteousness like a never-failing stream. And then our final passage this week was to look at the promise in Isaiah that those who put their hope in the Lord will soar on wings like eagles. And my picture there of an eagle says underneath that we are lifted up on the wings of his love. And we're asked to think this week about where we want to soar, or what we want God to help us with this week and in the future days. That's as far as we've got with the study so far. I'll share the other 2 weeks with you when we've completed it. So that's all for now. Bye.